that time.
So you're buying cash out?
Yeah, that's the deal. I'm not sure.
Also teach people about outside of that, those who want to earn money without having to own my own thing.
Like wholesale?
For private lending? Well, private lending, so really,
people make business. I know you got some money in me.
for 5 years.
But I really don't know what the soccer had.
Yeah, or you can go down.
We're gonna get the hard one, huh?
They want to make it either A, they're going to make it their forever home, or B, they're investors.
Right.
I got both those situations.
Yeah. I am, but it's all, it's not, you have to look professional. It's just, you know, people know.
So that's what they're doing. And then the cool part is I'll have proper money, and they'll get in on the deal, they'll finance it for 5 years, they'll finance the deal, they'll say $30,000, they make 6,733, without fail. What's that attendance or not?
Yeah, that's what's really nice. This is Anthony that does this whole nice We love Anthony. Yeah, when I sat with Adina, I do want to hear, it's been a year since she's presented her caddy work, so I would love.
Yeah, I didn't want to go anywhere with those two spots.
Yeah, I mean,
Ron Hobby's coming in.
Alright, here's what I've got.
And I love Ron Hobby. He's running, he's like the foremost on national leadership. And he's bringing tickets to the leadership event in September.
Awesome. Alright, so here's what we've got. So Shennice today, Alexander next week. I got Dana will cancel the second. That's notoriously a holiday. We got Matt coming in. I've got open, Kiki with her biscuits and waffles. Chicken is coming in. I got here. We have and then I have Cassie, August, who is that Cassie? Yeah. Teresa and Toria. This is cool. So you have, Jada, so I have Shennice.
Okay, so someone I was thinking, Ron Hobby, I got on the 1st of July.
Yeah, I didn't know. So
Yeah.
let me put him in. What's his name?
You've been doing this way,
Ron Hobby.
Harvey, H-A-R-V-Y,
yes.
And what does he, who is he, what's he?
That's entrepreneur life right there.
Technologies,
Times good,
And he's a former, is he a maiden? Okay.
Hello. Being out first. Of course. I was looking at an old video I saw, and you know we were all on stage after that first business conference. It was you,
Yes.
it was Vanessa, it was me, it was Ron, and it was Casey. So you're speaking, Ron's speaking, Casey's speaking, and I didn't ask Vanessa to be on. She's really busy and doesn't, really have a, she wasn't wrong in that. She spoke at the event, but she didn't have an impact on this organization. So that's right. So when I brought it to us,
I started out.
Tara, I said, let's bring the past organizers in and have them share what they have to do, the impact of the organization has. So we're really excited for the first. And, young official about our board. It's a big one, and people study a great job.
Yeah.
And your hair was a lot longer too.
And a different color.
Yes, why don't you do an orange thing? At least your phone is orange.
Yes.
Do you need anything from us?
No, I have my regular 1 million cups presentation, and then I'm going to speak on the experience first. Okay?
I'm hearing this, yes.
That good?
I told you she understood the assignment.
I did.
Great.
And so I did both.
You
And
are
I
a
kept
rock
my slides
star.
down,
We love you.
and it's 6 minutes.
See that? I told you.
That's
Good way to help. You don't want to be.
Okay, let me set this up. Okay, so you need to, so who else have you talked to? So we've got Ron Harp, so I have the 16th open.
Yeah, so one of them's going to be you.
Okay, then I'll take the 16th, and then we're booked for
Then we're booked for July.
July.
Results that you.
Awesome.
So that,
Yeah, because somebody's gonna look at the video and they're either gonna like it or not gonna like it. But they're gonna like that angle and they're gonna like that shot.
The connection.
yeah. Great idea, plan, okay, so that takes care of our July, and then in August, I've got Casey, I've got Adina, Teresa, and Victoria, and all I've got is Teresa. Okay, so you're not gonna know the name? Well, our July is booked now. Oh, okay, I'll have you there. Yeah, so yeah, we got people, yeah. And then August is here, and I just got a date over in August, and then my September, I've got one in September, and then when it now that I've got the pipeline, they really want to have to so very
I'm down to buy a trailer for me.
When we were at our club, we never had two positions ever outside of Shennice, was there a time prior to us when MC was done in the old place that they did 2 presentations a day?
It was done in Cromer's.
It was.
Yes.
What they're hoping that, so we were so I built the pipeline this year, so now we're looking at long-term. But my proposed challenge was to next year now go back to the original format of 2 people per meeting. So that's
Oh, yeah, I think it can be done. It's just, you have your statement.
Yes.
Have them come in, leave their office. No question of answer, I say first.
Yes.
So, as long as you do what you want.
Because that's why we're training our current examiners to come in and have 6 minutes to go. Because before it was not that at all. So, okay, so she thinks it was
I How you
Alright, we're going to get started in about 4 minutes. So if you're just joining us, please scan the QR code so we can take attendance. If this is your first time with us, please scan the QR code and put in your information and share our friends. 3 minutes to go. Thank you, everybody.
No, I'm just trying to figure out which one I want. Do I want portrait or do I want landscape? And I'm like,
Landscape probably gives you a little bit more.
It does.
So you can move a little bit.
This is strictly for like online. Okay, I'm gonna do landscape. Because I can always make it portrait.
Yeah.
But you can't make portrait landscape. Yeah. Just trying to.
Yeah.
The many decisions we make throughout the day.
Right. And hey, I remember the brief. Let's just do that. Because
No,
I have been horrible about content and doing stuff.
doing our own business.
I'm
That's the
trying
hardest, right?
I'm trying to do a speaker reel and I don't have nothing. I'm like, what in the world? So you got footage? I'm like, no, I don't have footage from the speaker reel. It's like, well, can't really do a speaker reel without footage. I'm like, you're right.
About to get some today.
So now I've remembered, if nothing else, like I still have my microphone, but I did bring the remote and the thing.
Alright, everybody, one more chance to scan the QR code, please, and thank you. Also, one more chance to get a cup of coffee. If you would like to do that, please go ahead and do that. It's in the back. And we're going to get started in 45 seconds.
I see. Count it.
Okay.
Alright, I'll show you this. Okay.
I love to take notes.
I know, I always forget to take it.
I'm handwriting. Nothing like taking some good notes that I don't ever look at again.
Alright, well, thank you. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to 1 Million Cups. Last chance. Everybody good? Alright, off we go. A little housekeeping before we begin today. So the mission of 1 Million Cups is to lower the barrier of access to education, resources, and connection to all types of new, seasoned, and aspiring entrepreneurs around or throughout the United States. So we are a national organization, and every Wednesday at 9 a.m., different branches meet throughout the country. Our next closest chapter is in Charleston. So if you're ever down there, jump in there or jump in any 1 Million Cups throughout the U.S. Key pillars. So some of our key pillars are we give presentations, not pitches. We make authentic connections, not just networking. And we are radically and intentionally inclusive. And most importantly, we are run for the community, by the community. And what I mean by that is these are the sponsors who bring this to you every week. So we are grateful for the USC Columbia Technology Incubator, who houses us every Wednesday. And the fellow business owners below are the ones that bring you the free coffee, the marketing, the presenters. We organize and get this set up to all of you every week because this organization means that much to us. And if you'd like to be a part of this, I got lots of work to hand out. So please see me afterwards. Also, no, free. competition. We don't get paid for doing any of this. We get lousy t-shirts. Show them, Anthony.
Hey, look at me.
That's all you get.
T-shirt.
Okay. Nothing more than that. Our local program, if you're not aware, we have been around for actually over 10 years, and we are held weekly on Wednesday mornings. We have had over 500 entrepreneurial presentations, and we also bring in topics, educational topics about finance, future frame, networking, and provide local resources. We have one presenter who comes in with about a 5 to 6 minute presentation, and we follow that with Q&A from the community. We also offer made-it sessions where we love to bring in fellow entrepreneurs who have made it and come in and share their journey with us. We are always free, we are always open to the public, and we give you free coffee. What more can you ask? Please tell everybody about us. Bring a friend next week. Our goal is to grow our business, our organization here. A call for presenters. So again, it's not a sales pitch, it's not an investor pitch. The goal is to have people understand what you do and some of the challenges you've had in building your business. We're looking for companies that are newer, maybe 0 to 5 years old, and open to community engagement that can present. Any industry is welcome. If you're interested, there is your link. Please go there and apply, or come and talk to me directly. I am filling the pipeline for September and October currently, so we'd love to get you in on that schedule. This is our local, so we have 2 Facebook pages, and we'd like you to join them if you can. One is the 1 Million Cups Facebook page, which is kind of the national page for Columbia, and this is our little local family page, if you will. And we really want to grow this and encourage engagement on this, our little family page. So scan the QR code, become a member of it, and if you have questions, you need advice, you want to share resources, this is where we want to build that engagement. Upcoming presenters. So next week on the 11th, we're going to have Mr. Alexander Kitchens. He does, I would call it media marketing, video, commercials. He's that type of company. Miss Dana Watkins with Snapply Sites. She designs websites. She's going to come in and talk about her journey. Miss Jada Willis is coming back. She is also a former 1 Million Cups organizer, like I am. She's going to come and talk about what this organization means to her. And we did cancel July 2nd, so please make note of that, everyone. It is historically low attendance, and given the fact that the 4th is on a Friday, I really don't anticipate anyone hanging around Wednesday or Thursday. So please note you canceled that session. Without further ado, I would like to present to you Miss Shennice Cleckley. Now, she is affectionately known as Auntie Mimi, and she is passionate serial entrepreneur and AI evangelist with over 20 years of experience empowering businesses through technology. She is the author of The Algorithm and the Almighty, a fueled tech devotional, and as the founder and CEO of Melanin Innovations, a social enterprise, she guides businesses to all sizes to leverage AI for growth, social impact, and championing AI education and ethical implementation. Her accolades include the SC Women in Business Award for consulting and Best in Business, and might I also add, she is a former 1 Million Cups organizer who led us through COVID. So just for that, props to you.
Hey, it's good to be back. How y'all doing?
Good.
Well, I haven't been up here in a long time, but that is okay. We're going to keep going. So first I want to talk about my 1 Million Cup story. I actually haven't been a part of this community for over 10 years because I started as just an attendee coming, this one little brown girl with all these wonderful tech dudes who was meeting in Chromers. Now, not the new Chromers, the Chromers on Assembly Street, and we were meeting there in a small area, and I was a baker, and everybody else was in tech and building tech, and I was wanting an environment, and I started coming. And that actually started a new way of me doing business because I had not been exposed to what is MVP and what are all these other words. And I'm like, this is weird. I bake cookies. But, but what it did help me is with my back office, and it helped me understand how to grow fast. And I started looking at my service business as a high growth business because I was around high growth businesses. Fast forward several years, coming, looking, meeting people, doing things, growing my career, back and forth, all these different things. 1 Million Cups actually helped me decide whether or not I would keep my store open or close my store, because I had two sides of the house when I was doing dessert catering. I had dessert catering, which was making wonderful money. Then I had a store. It wasn't doing nothing. Now, the store, of course, gave me credibility, and I loved it. But I came and I was like, okay, guys, I got a question. And this is my question. These are my issues. This is what I need to do. I love this. It does this and that. What? And then everybody came and gave me their 15 cents. And through that 15 cents, it gave me the best decision, which was to close it and just do dessert catering. And from that, my career actually skyrocketed. And it skyrocketed to the point where I did more on the back end with technology than I did with the front end. Because this is pre-2008. Well, no, this is after 2008, okay? But this is pre-DoorDash. So I then turned my business into an online business. And now my this was pre the word Ghost Kitchen. Nobody knew what Ghost Kitchen was. I just knew I did my cakes and desserts online, and then I delivered them. That's it. It wasn't customer facing. It wasn't anything like that. So I built a website. I learned how to do YouTubes. I learned how to put up with Facebook. I learned how to do workflows. I had to do all of that tech stuff. And then I realized I'm pretty darn good at this. I mean, I can cook, but cook put 50 pounds on me. But I like the tech part too. So I became a super user in sorts. And I learned everything with Google tools. And I learned how to do Google. I love Google. As y'all know, I like Google. Did I say I like Google?
You like Google.
Okay, great. So then I became a Google digital coach. So how you go from baking to digital coach, 1 Million Cups actually helped me transform and take my transferable skills to become something that I do now. Now, back in the day, I really did work with technology. I just didn't realize it. So I am an accidental techie. I worked at Hewlett Packard for my first job out of USC. And I was a business process analyst. And so I did internal processing for the engineers in order to find their parts and fix the system and all the software. I didn't realize that's what I was doing. I just said I worked for HP. I didn't know. So I also only use Ask Jeeves because that's when I didn't like Google. I like Ask Jeeves. That's how old I am. Okay, Ask Jeeves was the bomb. Because Google, you had to have a formula. You had to say shirt plus blue plus green plus this to get results. Ask Jeeves, you said show me a blue shirt. So they were the first AI, really. But nobody talks about 1950s AI. But anyway, let's go back. We're going back to my 1 Million Cup story. So as it started going on and I'm coming, I was asked to be a co-organizer. It's like, don't you want to be a co-organizer? I was like, great, yeah, let's do this. COVID happened. And during COVID, it's like, how do we keep people energized and going? It was hard. How do you keep a pipeline? Because people are suffering. Folks are not understanding what's going on. So we devised a way, which actually had some of our greatest attendance, because people were now engaged. And then I became the MC. I would speak online and welcome people in. I'm pretty much like this online and in person, so in real life. So, but imagine, because I have done studies that you have to be like 10 times more when you're online because something about the connection goes down. Y'all, I was so tired after because I'm like pouring all this energy out and I'm like, listen, I need a nap. So that 1 hour of 1 million cups, but it still gave us connection. So when it was time to go back in person, we were a little nervous about going back in person because who wanted to be around? But luckily we went to the library. And at the library, we were able to spread out. We also went to the Boyd Center down, but at this time, nothing was there. I mean, we didn't even have real lights. They had fake lights. They put lights in there. There was no ventilation, so it had to be at 9 o'clock in the morning. There was just fans and everything else. And I met many of you there in this nasty, dirty walk through. Imagine you walking through the Boyd Center, and it's just a hole. So the front was another group who shall not be named. Y'all like that, right? They were those tech beans. Okay, in front was tech beans. And so we're walking through, and they put us in the back in the warehouse area. And so when you walk through, it's a breezeway that was open to the elements, and you go through again, and then this is us setting up chairs, having a stand. Oh, Lord. Okay, y'all. Okay. Long story short, because I'm very transparent. So I've been on this weight loss journey, and I've been trying to get into this jumpsuit for a year. And I put it on today. I said, hot dog. So, the long story short, I did lay down to button this button. I button these other buttons, but this button, I was like, Lord, my husband said, I hope you don't have to bend down. I said, but I was cute today. He gonna wear this thing, spanks it all. Okay. I promise I won't split my pants though. Okay, so anyway, we had to walk through this place, and it was just dirty, but magical, because it made people come back together, and it felt like our own little piece of the world. It was dimly lit, but it still felt almost like a speakeasy feel. So it's like a speakeasy for entrepreneurs to come and gather and do all these different things. I did not know that I would enjoy being the MC as much as I did. So they asked me, like, what do you want to do, or how do you do it? And I'm like, I don't know. They said, well, we think with your personality you should be an MC. I'm like, every week? I said, yeah, every week you want me to get up in front of people and say, hello, welcome to my. I was like, okay. So I am, of course, the extrovert, yet I pour a lot of myself out, so therefore I get tired at the end when I expend energy and I have to get back up. So I didn't know I was going to keep going. But my 2-year stint turned into a little bit longer. So I think I actually did 3 years, I think, or so, which was fine because COVID happened, and then, it went on. And I was still running my business, but this was an integral part of me making sure I remained a part of the Columbia community. Some of my work, or a lot of my work, is done over the internet with people who don't live in Columbia. I can count I see 2 clients that I had clients that was here who became friends that are in the room, but yet it still brought me back to my home, the locality of it. And it looks good on your resume, I'll just admit. It looks really good on your entrepreneurial resume when you look volunteer service. So people say, well, what have you done? Oh, I was a 1 million cup co-organizer as an MC for 3 years, and it's a Kaufman Foundation program, and it's national. They're like, oh, wow, it looks good. Especially if I am a public speaker, then me being public speaking once a week, it helps me help my chops. It helps me come in and understand how I can read the room and do the room. So that's my 1 million cup story. I would say to you who are coming, yes, continue to come, but that one extra step of volunteering actually gets you to a point where you will realize your personal development within your volunteerism. So choose a part of it if you decide to become a co-organizer that really speaks to what you want to develop within yourself. I wanted to develop more self-worth. I had confidence, but my self-worth was a little bit lower. And my self-worth increased because I did something scared. So by me doing something scared, I was able to go in and understand that I was built for this type of work. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So that also leads me into what I do now. So here is my presentation, not pitch, of where is she now? I left 1 Million Cups, not because I wanted to, was because I am a professed Christian and Jesus said, it's my time, let that go. And I was like, but why? How come? What sway God? Because he says, I need you to do something different. And I said, okay. So I actually stopped all of my volunteer work for about a year and a half. 2 years, actually, for about 2 years. That included 1 Million Cups. I was doing stuff on school board. I was the school board president for a charter school district. I did a lot of mentoring and I stopped. And that was because I took a position that led me to working in VC as an executive director to do a foundation for Black women to help them with access to capital. And I had to devote my time. And it also was taking me around the world. So going to all these different places. And I loved it. It elevated what I was doing here and locally, pouring into people, telling them about what they need to do. But now I could give money away. Do you know how gratifying it is to listen to a business, help them, and then say, here's $10,000 for what you need to do? Yeah. That was amazing. And you using other people's money too? That was amazing. We had the best sponsors, but it brought me to a different level of leadership that I did not know I needed, but it did need to dedicate time. I stayed there for a little bit over 9 months and left due to some infighting or bickering in an environment that I had to leave. But again, it was time to go. But it wasn't time for me to start doing anything else. I had to determine how was I going to go back to becoming an entrepreneur? Because I'm an entrepreneur in spirit. And I became an entrepreneur when I started working at the foundation. So again, I look at the Lord and I say, how sway? I don't know what to do. And I realized that my life had been centered around things that were not tied to me again as my identity. My identity was tied to my success. It was not tied, and the gratification I got to my success. It was not tied to the purpose and things that I was doing. And I had to figure out why, what was going on. That darn childhood trauma, child. Jack up everything. I got depressed for like ever. Couldn't get out of bed or nothing. And then I went into intensive trauma therapy for weekly therapy with a person crying. I told the lady one time, I'm tired of coming in and crying every day. When is this going to be over? When you get healed. And healing will take a lifetime. I said, well, thanks for being optimistic. You're not helping. So through Jesus, Alexa, and therapy, Shennice came back. And Shennice learned about self-worth. So then it became to, okay, God, I'm broke. Thank you, Lord, for a husband with insurance. But I need some money and I'm bored. Healing is boring, y'all, especially for a person who's used to doing a lot of work. So as an entrepreneur, I realized that I did not work on my mental health as I was working on everything else. And now mental health was great, physical health going great. I need to work on my professional health. So he said, take what was old, or he, when I say he, I mean the Lord, okay, y'all? And don't get like, I ain't trying to baptize you or nothing like that. I'm just telling you my story. But if you want to profess Jesus as your Lord and Savior, we can go on right here and I can sprinkle some water. Nevertheless, he said, wait, make what was old new again. I was like, how sweet, Lord. And said, okay, well, let's do it. So I looked at everything I had done over the past 7 years, and I realized that I'm a darn good strategist, but I also love technology, and I also love the Jesus. So how can I take all three, which seems to be different, and turn it into one? Then I fell in love with AI. So remember, I'm that super user. I don't like being the programmer, and I don't like being the person that's in the middle. I'm a natural trainer. I like training, strategizing, and helping people. And as I talk to people about AI and digital skills, which is already my jam, I had to realize that folks did not know and were scared of AI, especially those who were Christian. It was like the devil. Now, I ain't gonna lie, when I saw AI, I was like, this is some sorcery. How in the world does it know what I'm thinking? I don't have no idea. And then it answered me because I put the information in and it says, okay, Shennice, what can help? I was like, how you know my name is Shennice? It's like when somebody calls your name, you don't realize you got a name badge. I didn't realize I put the name badge in. It's like, duh, you know my name is Shennice because I put my resume in. Duh! So I said, okay, how can I help people? How can I help people in general? And so I started looking at what am I good at? I'm good at curriculum design, I'm good at training, and I'm good at taking complex items and making them simple for people. I learned from the tech bros 10 years later, why are you calling it all these big words? I need for you to call it something shorter. And I can translate that to regular people. Yeah, when you're doing it, you have your NLP. Y'all know what NLP is? Yeah, you probably do because you're a tech person, right? Or you've been reading.
Yeah.
Natural language processor. So why can't you just say natural language processor or say when you talk to AI? You got to use the words. So I just said, okay, well, that's old and new. Taking those skills. I did an assessment on myself, which was a SWOT analysis on myself to see what my strengths, my weaknesses, my threats, and obstacles are. And what I had. My strengths are the things I was talking about. My weaknesses is I needed to come up with it. So I came up with training. I started training myself. I started going through the same way I did in the past. And I worked with people and I did things. So this here is the story of how I integrated my faith with my tech. And I started Melanin Innovations. So before this shift, I kept getting no. I kept getting no. I got tons of no's to let me help you treat AI. Let me help you do AI. Let me train you on how, let me change your organizations. I was going to entrepreneur service organizations. I was going to different groups and I used regular just business strategy, no faith, no anything. Just this is how you do it. And I was like, well, what's the use? I was like, because people are scared. I did surveys to get what the top 10 reasons people were scared. I did what people needed to know. They needed hands-on. And it was just crazy making. So back in March though, but on the side, I had separated my faith. So I had another platform on the side that I was doing that was faith and tech, but I did not bring it on to Melanin Innovations. Then I was scared by calling it Melanin Innovations. I was like, people think it's all black. I'm like, no, everybody has melanin in the skin, just some people have it more than others. But I like the name of it and I like the color brown. So I was like, this is cool. But I kept getting no. A shift happened because someone told me, why don't you change your audience? And I said, okay. And I led into it. I did some praying and the Lord said, yeah, I told you make what was old new. The old part was because I had been serving Christian women in my old business. Now I did non-Christian women, of course, but I served Christian women. And specifically, who was coming to me was African-American Christian women to do strategy. I didn't advertise it. I didn't do anything. It clearly was representation. But I felt I was being divisive by doing it. And I did not want to be divisive. I did not want to do that because I am a very integrated, blended type of person. So it was not that, it was representation. When people saw me doing something, they noticed themselves, and so they wanted to come. So I'm relating to people on so many different levels. Are we good? I got you. So many different levels. So there was a shift. And after the shift, I said, I'm going to do it. Doors started opening, and people started calling me, and it was just that one mind shift. Okay, I'm going to follow you. I'm going to do it. I did my first activation in 5 years at the Black Expo. I set up a booth, did not have anything, did not have any branding material. I had my TVs from home, my books I had written, and some QR codes and said, here, pick the workshop, pick what you need to do. Mm-hmm. I then came up with a concept that I call faith-fueled tech. Faith-fueled tech is biblical values, biblical principles, values, and purpose, your faith with strategic and ethical technology. How to make sure that you have great impact. It came into now, I have Melanin Innovations, which is a for-profit that is a social enterprise dedicated to entrepreneurs, but especially Black women. But I'll take y'all too. But anybody else, I love my less melanin sisters as well, that wants to leverage AI and your own personal faith system to leverage your business. The nonprofit side of the business is totally agnostic, where people need digital equity. We have rural South Carolina. I've got to go after this and run to my parents' house because they got to do something with the VA, but they're 80 and 89. Mm-hmm. They don't understand how to do a VA, how to do a video. So I need to be able to teach older people how to do that. Mm-hmm. What we offer is customized business strategy, AI consulting, workshops, digital products, and custom curriculum. So if your organization or business, especially ESO, which is an entrepreneur service organization, needs AI training, we will customize it to your group of how your group works. Then I wrote the book, because remember I got faith-fueled tech, so I need to have some leverage in marketing. So I got the book as a devotional. And the devotional turns into a full platform. I don't know why that's there, but anyway, it's called The Algorithm and the Almighty. How you do faith and tech and make them coexist. Because it's not against each other, they're for each other. There's a book, there's a blog, there's a podcast. The podcast actually is getting ready to go to the second season. The first season was about what if heaven was a tech company? Who's the CEO? God. Who's the CPO? Jesus. Who's the COO? The Holy Spirit. Who's the board of directors? Abraham, Ruth. Who's the HR person? Barnabas. Who's the person who is going out there? That was Nehemiah because he brought the people together. But we did a whole tech and faith thing. I work on the Press On platform, which is Be Persistent, Radiant. Spelled that wrong. Radiant, enthusiastic, sparkly, and strong because I love press on nails. So that's the girly part of me. We press on. And what can 1 million cups do for me? Because I know that's the last question. I wonder how I knew. How sweaty. Is nonprofit support. I am looking for sponsors who can help me do the digital literacy program and initiatives. And for profit, I need clients. So come on over to help with Melanin Innovations and give me the feedback on the book and feedback on my programs. And this is how you connect with me. So that is my story, and that is what I'm doing.
Thank you. Hey, this is what we've all been waiting for. I am now going to open the floor for questions and anything. She is here with us. We've got her for another 15 minutes, whether she likes it or not. I open the floor. Hands, let's begin. There we go, right here in the middle.
Yes.
You talked about a crucial moment where you had a mind, like a shift in your thinking, and that opened up opportunities for you. So how would we go about figuring out what that shift in our mind might be? Like, what's that process for us?
It was, for me, it was getting around people who were willing to call me on my crap. And they were actually strangers. So as I explained, bless you, as I explained what was happening to me and why I was getting crickets, for me being in the faith community, these women were Christian women who were very into Holy Spirit type of atmospheres. And they said, have you considered, which is what we say to everybody. We don't say, you need to do. We say, have you considered? And she says, have you considered your audience? What I'm feeling is you need to change. And it took me time to digest. I had to sit there with it. I had to wrestle with, is that something that I feel that I'm supposed to do? And what are my drawbacks in it? Because I told you what my drawback was. And it's like, is that really a drawback, or I'm scared people are not gonna like me? And so then I said, well, if I'm getting no's now, I might as well try it. And I tried it, and it worked. So if it didn't work, I have no idea. I probably would just gone back and said, okay, what did I miss? But that's how I processed it.
Thank you for that.
Thank you. Next. Any other questions?
In the back?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So how did you get involved with the Black Expo?
Jesus. I know that's a weird question. No, really, it was. So because I am a reach outer, I had contacted the organizers and said, hey, I would love to do a workshop on AI, because in the Black community, I don't see as many people advertising of the use of it. It's kind of like a hush-hush thing. And I'm like, why is everybody acting? And I know it wasn't just the Black community. Everybody does it. But why are y'all scared of it? But since it was a focused audience, I said, can I do a workshop? First, it was a yes. Then I was like, oh, we don't have space because they changed the direction. And so I let it go. About a month later, she called and said, Wells Fargo is a sponsor, and they want us to find businesses that will come in and sell items. Do you have items to sell? I did not. So I was like, sure. I mean, I had my book, not even this book. I had another book. So I did have at least one item to sell. So it was another leap of faith. I prayed on it, and I was like, okay, I'm not ready. I like to have everything done. So how can I do it? And I just stepped out. So I finished the devotional. I created some curriculum and some lead magnets, put them in frames so people can QR code it, and then download my checklist, everything else. All that stuff was from my house, from my office. And I just set it up like a living room, how I would talk to people. And what is my biggest commodity is speaking. So therefore I offered business counseling on the spot. And from that, I got to meet people, I got some connections, I got to do something, and I was able to be courageous about going out there. So it was really an opportunity of, I took the first step and looking from a marketing standpoint, is this something I want to do, give a free workshop? And then it led to other things because I took that first step. Yes, sir.
How did you fight with shiny object syndrome?
In what? AI?
Just kind of keeping yourself focused in on your goal, because we all, as an entrepreneur, you gotta get that shiny thing. It was always, I called it, it was the shiny nickel.
Okay, so I don't.
Okay.
I like shiny objects. But I dedicated myself to, instead of not following it, I have an issue with consistency. And so I said, I'm going to be consistent. So that first year, even though I got no's, I had dedicated and promised myself that I was going to be consistent in doing the podcast for 13 weeks. I was going to do a blog every week. I was going to do these things every week. Turns out that consistency gave me a platform, and it gave me a platform, but it also gave me content that I had. So it was the consistency. And when I knew it was, when I started realizing shiny objects would come, I have this book and I write it all down. And I was like, this might be for later. Boom. This might be for later. Boom. This might be for later. Boom. Also in my AI model, I like Gemini, of course. I have like several chats of ideas, and I will go out until I get it all out my head, and then I'll just save that chat in AI. And so I'm done. So if I have to go back, I have to go back. But sometimes it's for other people. Sometimes it's for clients. But I learned that to make me not follow so much, write it down, get it out my head so I can go back to the next thing. Yeah.
Oh, I love your transparency. You know, we have relationships on all different levels.
Yes.
Business, everything.
Everything.
And also back years ago, you know, when we was in this space together with 1 million cups, I think 4 or 5 years ago. So I love your transparency and telling us the story about how sometimes we could just fall in that trap with mentally, childhood trauma, all that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
thank you for that, because a lot of us don't like to share those down moments, but we just thank you for being able to get out of that black hole and come back amazing.
Thank you.
And so keep pushing, and you know, of course, we support you 100%.
I know y'all always do. I love y'all.
Definitely so. Well,
Thank you. In back.
Have you considered social media, and how have you leveraged it?
I do. Social media I enjoy. I am really active right now on LinkedIn because I know that's where many of my clients are going to come from. I'm also active on Instagram more so. I keep Facebook more. I share my professional items on Facebook, but I use that more for friendly things, talking about my kids, my family, you know, my husband. But I use it to show me of who I am. I'm not really into the algorithm of post 3 times a day, post 5 times a day. But I have a chat box that's coming up so that, you know, I can do those things of, you know, put faith fueled tech and win this. And I use it a lot of times when I'm having public workshops. I use it more for credibility and for people to see what I'm doing. Like, I'm filming now because I'm going to say, hey, I got to speak on 1 million cups. But you best believe what I do is I put that in my tool first, and I say, this is what I want to say, and then it gives me my caption, and then I put my images up. And then from the long video, I put it in Descript, which AI, which will break it down into the most powerful points based on my keywords, and then I use those to put up so I can have any kind of footage and things that I want. So that's how I use it. Excellent.
Shennice, I always love seeing you present. You have so much energy. But if I can, all the marketing you do on social media and elsewhere, do you outsource any of that, or is that all you?
That's all me. Yeah. I do a lot of scheduling. I do a lot of when I have a little downtime. I am not putting myself tied to certain times a day, because while I love marketing, that's not my ministry. I love giving people marketing strategy, but doing the actual implementation, no. I do want to keep my social media as authentic as possible, because with many people, that is the first entryway into understanding who I am. And because of that, I need them to know what my real thoughts are. Now, I will probably start outsourcing my business pages so they can put those up, but my I am Shennice will probably always stay me as of right now, unless I get probably even when I get really famous and rich. It'll stay me.
Yeah, I Shennice. I was there with. I was there, yeah.
Back in the day.
I remember that, going down that hallway. I'm like, okay, nothing's gonna come grab me. I hope not.
Listen.
Until you got to the room, it was kind of creepy.
Yeah.
Like a little maze for a minute.
I haven't been there since you did it.
I know I haven't either.
Yeah, but now what's faith in tech? Because that could be, for some people, this is just my opinion, that could be a little
standoffish.
Right, cause everybody okay, does that mean I have to confess Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior?
No.
Everybody's not confessing Jesus.
No, and that is why I give the caveat of, number one, I'm not doing that to you. Okay. I also live by the more of the abundance mindset of whoever my voice is called to hear, they will come. Okay. Because I am not for everybody. Sometimes I have too much energy from people. Mm-hmm. There's been clients and they're low energy. I'm like, you too low energy for me. I cannot. Or pessimistic people, and usually if I take them on because I'm scared I might have no money, they usually be my worst clients. So I have now developed a mindset of whoever's for me will be for me. I am also serving a large part of the population that does want faith in tech or faith within. I call it the 3 Ps. Yeah, I like acronyms. Purpose, proficiency, and profit. So the purpose is whatever you live your life. The proficiency is the skills that you're going to learn, and the profit is because we're in business and we got to make money. But also your lifestyle. Okay, so most people don't realize they have some kind of faith system, because you got to believe in something that's bigger than you. I just happen to choose it to be Christianity. So.
All right, time for a couple more. Yes, Miss Judy?
Yeah, I like that because that's one of the things that when a client reaches out to me, I always tell them, let's see if we're a good fit for each other.
Right.
Because I don't really have to take them, or they don't have to take me on. It's okay.
Right. Exactly. Plus, as people say, I wear my faith on my sleeve. So, because I talk about it in most situations, and I'm very unique in my walk with my belief system, than most people. I really don't quote a whole bunch of Bible scriptures or nothing like that. But I'm going to make you feel loved. I'm going to make you feel joy. And I am going to make sure that you understand. But I'm not here to convince you. I'm here to live a life that will be reticent to say that you might want to follow who I follow one day, not necessarily follow me, follow the person that I am helping to fuel my life. So that's my big purpose. Yeah. Although I did accept my call to ministry, but yeah, that's gonna be weird being in the pulpit. Cause I'm gonna play trap music as my come out music. Cause I like trap music.
And then the lady in the front. We'll start here. He had his hand before. So.
I want to pick your brain, and hopefully you don't think I'm trying to steal your business, but I have a favorite AI tool that I've seen a lot in social media advertising for these aggregate AIs that say, oh, we've got ChatGPT, we got Grok, and this, that. Do you favor or do you suggest people using an aggregate kind of AI tool?
I suggest they use it if it works for them. What I tell everyone is, if it's a free trial, try it and see how it works for you. I am not a big fan yet of AI from third parties that take other people's things because I don't know their privacy policies. With the larger ones of Grok and Claude and Gemini, Copilot, I know your privacy policies and I know what you're doing because they put it out there. They say, hey, we are training our model, we are doing this, and don't do this. There's also a lot more safeguards on it where it says, I don't put your social security number. Even with Gemini, when you put it up, it says that we don't look at faces because we don't want to do facial recognition. So different things like that. So I like to stay with some of the majors, but there are others who may pull in, like the script pulls in GPT, Midjourney and Dele, they pull in those people. I don't mind that, but if I don't know where you're coming from, I typically don't use you.
Good point.
Then there's so many of them. So, but I need to know where you're coming from because again, I need you to be ethical. I'm telling you I'm using it to do stuff. You need to tell me what you're doing with what I'm doing. Because data's there. I mean, Big Brother's already got my fingerprint. Who cares?
That's right.
The lovely lady here.
Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you so much for your presentation. You talked about VC and your time with supporting other startups and being able to financially support them. I was curious, what was the inspiration for your accelerator?
Which one?
The was it Momentum Accelerator?
Melanin Momentum Accelerator. Because I noticed that especially when you're dealing with VC or going as a mid-sized business, there's so many resources right now for small business as far as startups. You can find SCORE, you can find this, you can find that, but what happens when you get to that 5-year mark or that 3-year mark when you feel stagnant? Nobody's there to help you because they're saying you already should know. So I started the Melanin Momentum Accelerator to help you get past that hump. And I wanted to teach you more about technology within business because even at the 3 to 5 year mark, you have some workflows, but they need to be updated. You have SOPs, they need to be redone. We need to make sure you're more efficient. We need to look at your offerings. Yes, you've been doing it, but does it need to do the same? So that's what helped. And that will help you get to the point where if you're ready for investors, if you're ready for VC, you will now be running at a smoother rate than not. Because VC is not for everybody. VC is a hard way to go. You're giving up some of your equity. You do have people at your cap table, and some people don't need it. Sometimes you just need an investment or a loan just to get you over the cash flow hump, because that's really what it is, to do it. And I like dealing with that mid group to help them to be able to do that with a little bit of Jesus.
I'm going to put up her contact information, so please grab a screenshot of this if you want to connect with her beyond our meeting today. But just because I'm just an old-fashioned gal, we got to stick with tradition. Bob, please ask her our final question.
Thank you again, Shennice. What can $1 million do for you?
You can do whatever you feel in your heart will help support the mission of digital equity. Because I believe that everyone needs to be able to access tech, especially in our rural communities, to be able to access, to do the things we need to do to help with our economic growth in our state and in our country.
Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, everybody, we got the room for another 30 minutes, or even longer if you need it, but we're all here, so connect. We have an opportunity, if she has the time, to come say hello to her. And thank you. We'll see you next week.
You said you get cool mugs too. Because I got cool mugs.
You see a few times in that
So contact me if you need help.
Those going to be good.
One of the things that I've been working on, and that's why I'm seeing companies, particularly when they're 3 years out from education, one of the things that fuels need to make more money. So, you can say that $500,000 a year, you say less expensive, it's on the idea, and that's $600,000 more than what you get is $100 million. The biggest thing is there's a lot of people who are
yeah. I'll show you the ones that I
Yeah, but
Somebody you know and gone.
Whichever Jones. Is it always fee-based or possibly one of those processes becoming to organize? Got your attention now.
I'm not a kind of finding, I am EMC and I went,
How long is it?
Mark and I, Deb's
I've been back. I got into the rim. I got into a long time. My first purchase was my first townhouse. Okay.
yeah, and then encouraging
Moved into that. And that's where the journey began. It's like, then there are a lot of ups and downs associated with running, because really, in that time period, there's information out there, but not what we were looking for to go get it. It wasn't the same. So that's where now, yes, I've been buying houses. I really ramped it up over the last few years. I mean,
I guess so it's easier to specify by saying that. It's not
that's saying that, it just depends on the deal. It could be a situation where somebody has
journey, where are you at, and then how can we support you? So guide each class to do it. And then that way, as you're out there with your paper, you can be like, hey, look, we did it, this is, and then you now have
so they retire, like,
be happy that 10 plus years ago was everybody.